Good evening, you're now with me, Douglas Elliott, for TVS Nightline. The headlines. All but 2 people are feared dead in the horrific JEJU air crash in South Korea. 3 tidal control gates along the SPAOH River are set to bring much relief to local residents. We begin with this. A tragic air disaster has left all but 2 people presumed dead as JEJU Air Flight 2216 carrying 181 passengers and crew from Bangkok to Muan crashed during landing earlier today, leaving at least 179 presumed dead. Authorities have identified a bird strike and adverse weather as the likely causes, with the pilot issuing a mayday call just 2 minutes before impact. The Boeing 737-800 skidded off the runway at Muan International Airport around 9:03 a.m. local time. Video shows the plane landing hard, smoke billowing from its engines before it slammed into a barrier and erupted in flames. Only 2 survivors, both flight attendants, were pulled from the wreckage, while 124 bodies have been recovered so far. Search teams continue to work around the clock to locate the remaining victims. Families of the passengers scattered at Muan Airport were overcome with grief as they received briefings from officials. JEJU Air has issued a public apology and pledged full support for the families, while Boeing has promised to assist investigators. Aviation officials said the runway length was not a factor. They point to a bird strike that damaged the engines, combined with poor weather conditions as the likely triggers. An exact cause, however, will be determined following a joint investigation. South Korea's acting President Choi Sang-mok has declared Muan a special disaster zone, promising comprehensive support for the bereaved families. This devastating crash marks the first fatal incident for JEJU Air since it began operations in 2005. While South Korea has a strong aviation safety record, this tragedy highlights the ever-present risk posed by bird strikes in modern aviation. Now, following the tragic incident, South Korea's acting President Choi Sang-mok on Sunday announced a 7-day national mourning period, effective Sunday and lasts until midnight on Saturday next week. The announcement was made during an emergency meeting held hours after the passenger jet crash landed and exploded at an airport in Muan. Choi has also designated Muan as a special disaster zone, making it eligible for state support. The acting president further instructed relevant agencies to deploy all available resources, including equipment, personnel, and infrastructure. No Malaysians were on board the ill-fated JEJU Air flight that crashed in South Korea Sunday morning. Now, that's according to the Malaysian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The ministry also expressed deepest sympathies and condolences to the victims, their families, and the government and the people of South Korea. Malaysia's embassy in Seoul is closely monitoring the aftermath of the tragic incident, and for consular assistance, Malaysians can contact the embassy directly via the contacts shown. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim has also extended condolences to South Korea and Thailand following the tragic plane crash. In a Facebook post today, he expressed profound sadness and sympathy to the families and loved ones of those who lost their lives in the tragedy. In local news, SPAOH's frequent flood woes may finally be over thanks to the completion of the 3 tidal control gates along the SPAOH River. The 500,000 ringgit project, managed by the Betong Division Development Agency BDDA, was completed ahead of schedule, originally slated for May 2025. During a site visit on Saturday, Deputy Premier of Sarawak Dato Amar Douglas Uga Umbas, who is also the Bukit Saban Assemblyman, expressed satisfaction with the flood mitigation efforts. Alongside the gates, additional upgrades, including a walkway and gazebo, are being reviewed. In a separate event, Uga inaugurated a 90-meter-long pedestrian bridge at the Samu Longhouse. The 1 million ringgit project, also completed ahead of its May 2025 deadline, improves connectivity for local residents. The Deputy Premier also toured the construction of a 1.4-kilometer rural transformation project connecting Ulu Penom to Ulu Paku. Looking ahead, UGA said preparations are underway for 2025 development projects in Bukit Saban with a focus on timely execution and avoiding delays. Welcome back. A total of 1,457 deaths were recorded in 3,500 road accidents involving lorries across Malaysia between January 2019 and last month. And that's according to Bukit Aman's Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department. Its Department Director, Dato Sri Muhammad Yusri Hassan Basri, revealed that the accidents also resulted in 473 cases of serious injuries and 1,076 cases of minor injuries.
The highest number of fatalities occurred in 2019, with 274 deaths, followed by 260 deaths in 2024, 235 in 2023, 232 in 2022, 230 in 2021, and 226 in 2020. During the same period, there were 848 road accidents involving buses, resulting in 153 fatalities, 120 serious injuries, and 218 minor injuries. Muhammad Yusri emphasized that the police would intensify monitoring and enforcement of commercial vehicles, particularly lorries and buses, to address the alarming statistics. Meanwhile, a study by the Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research, MIROS, highlighted that lorry accidents on highways are more likely to result in fatalities compared to those on federal, state, and municipal roads. The research also found that the risk of fatalities increases when accidents involving lorries occur at curves, and other road users face a higher risk of death in lorry-related accidents than in those involving buses. Miros also attributed some lorry accidents to issues such as poor maintenance, substandard vehicle components, and overloading. Loose tires were highlighted as a particular hazard. Vehicle owners and operators are also reminded to prioritize regular maintenance and ensure roadworthiness to reduce accidents.
Right, as the curtain begins to close on 2024, let's delve back into some key events and highlights that define Sarawak for this year. Sarawak has begun integrating artificial intelligence AI technology to revolutionize its healthcare and agriculture sectors. Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, announced the approval of the Sarawak AI Centre by the State Cabinet earlier this year. He expressed confidence that AI would enhance productivity and efficiency across Sarawak. Similarly, the Premier reaffirmed Sarawak's commitment to exploring the full transformative potential of AI. The state government continues to implement digital strategies and innovative solutions to ensure ethical governance, transparency, and improve quality of life for its people. He emphasized that these initiatives align with Sarawak's vision to become a digital economic powerhouse in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. Additionally, the Sarawak government remains steadfast in positioning AI as the core of its technological and economic advancement. Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg outlined the strategic vision of establishing Sarawak as a globally recognized innovation hub, focusing on technological excellence, sustainable growth, and a robust data ecosystem critical for AI success. Meanwhile, in an effort to foster a highly skilled workforce, Sarawak is set to launch the AI Talent Development Initiative. The program aims to equip workers with advanced AI knowledge to meet future industry demands. The Sarawak AI Centre will play a pivotal role in driving innovation and positioning the state as a hub for AI research and development. Key projects include predictive analytics for early disease detection in healthcare and AI-powered smart grid systems to enhance energy efficiency. With these key milestones, Sarawak is not only preparing for a digitally driven future, but also paving the way for sustainable growth and prosperity. Amidst the chaos, suspended South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol is accused of authorizing military force to storm parliament during a failed bid to impose martial law. The explosive revelations come from a prosecutor's report obtained by news agency AFP, detailing the events that have plunged the nation into political chaos.
The 10-page document alleges that Yoon ordered troops to break into the National Assembly on December 3rd, even instructing commanders to shoot if necessary to enforce his declaration. Despite his efforts, lawmakers rushed to Parliament and voted unanimously to overturn the martial law in the early hours of December 4th. The report also included screenshots of senior defense officials' messages from the day of the martial law declaration. It said there was evidence that Yoon had been discussing declaring martial law with senior military officials as early as March. Yoon has denied the allegations, calling the prosecutor's report one-sided. The scandal stems from tensions between Yoon's party and the opposition over a budget standoff. The fallout continues as South Korea's Constitutional Court reviews Yoon's impeachment. The court will also rule on the fate of acting President Han Duck-soo, who was impeached on Friday by lawmakers. Han's removal followed his refusal to complete President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment process and bring him to justice, despite growing pressure from Parliament. At the core of the controversy was Han's decision not to appoint additional judges to the Constitutional Court, which currently has 3 vacant seats. While the 6 remaining judges can decide whether to uphold Yoon's impeachment, a single dissenting vote would allow Yoon to be reinstated. Han's impeachment on Friday has now elevated Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok to the roles of acting president and prime minister.
Right, and those were the updates on TVS Nightline tonight. I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you for watching and have a good week ahead.